Yeah, super exciting. Sort of sad in a few ways for Vincent, Merv, and Simon, but their loss is our gain, isn't it? Or the fans' gain. They get to see them in an environment where they're not going to be protected. You can see them, and they'll love it as well. Last year, I was sat on a table with the fans. It was brilliant. Me, Co Stompy, Roland Shelton, Steve-O, Daryl Fitton, Tony O'Shea, Russ, and we're just sat on a table amongst all the fans together having a chat. And that's how it used to be. And I think, well, we've seen now Steve has enjoyed the Super Series this week. He'll love just going back and being able to just be a dart player and also be a fan and meet the fans, because that's very much what it's like. You sort of, it is very old school and it's enjoyable. And I think that'll be another reason why it will continue to get more and more popular. And again, next year you may see even more players sort of drop off the main tour and give the seniors a crack.
Well, talking of seniors, this is the exciting bit that we're going to get into. The Circus Tavern will be the last competitive darts that Chris Mason throws as a player.
Yes, it's I've give it a year, probably 18 months, and not much has changed. I'm not sure whether I'm not good enough. Well, there's several factors: not being good enough, not being fortunate enough, not getting any kind of rub whatsoever, and the demands and the time. I think that's probably why I've got so much empathy for the players. I'm just dabbling at it, and it's horrendous. Like everything sort of, and nothing can take precedence over what I do for a job and the pub. But ultimately everything just sort of seems to be, I'm getting married next year, I've got a business to run, I've also got a career in the media, which, and again, it's just you can't do anything in half measures. And I've always been one of those, you know, when I got back involved in the fitness industry, I didn't do it by halves, did I? I was personal training for 4 hours a day and training for 2-3 hours a day, and did that for sort of 10 years 8 years until COVID. And even during COVID, I was running outdoor classes and then so when I sort of said I remember saying to you a year ago, right, I'm going to give this a proper go for a year. Horrendous. Like, and I grew up in a generation where if you go into a pub, you have a pint. If I have a practice, I have a pint. And then you have another pint and another pint, and then before you know it, every day you're drinking. Like, and again, it's a mental health thing for me. I can't, I quit originally because I mentally was just fried. And a year of being committed and literally trying my ass off. I've practiced. I probably practiced more in the last year than, not obviously the time scale, but when I was bang at it, I practiced as much as I did in those days, and again, I think the harder the try, they say the harder you try, the luckier you get, or something. No, I don't know. I'm not sure what the saying is, but yeah, it's just not worked out for me, and I want to use my time more wisely than getting all bitter and salty about not being able to win, and I want to do more in the seniors. I want to, whether it be a role on the media side of it, or maybe a role deeper within the system of looking how we can improve it, maybe working with broadcasters, something where I can, something where my time will be better served, and it certainly for the viewers be better served if I was nowhere near a dartboard, and certainly for me it'd be better.
Well, again, you touched on when we first did it, going back back to a place that you weren't sure you wanted to go to, and go up to 2020. You were the fittest I'd ever seen you, and look, you touched on it there. You are of that generation where you have to drink to play, not like the modern generation.
No, God, no.
And that demands of drinking 3-4 days in a row and so on takes its toll. And going back to those places, was it tough?
Yeah, it was horrendous. Like, and again, I'm not saying. Listen, a lot of the modern dart players do keep fit. They do look after themselves. The drinking culture is completely different. Not completely eradicated, but certainly different to it was back in my day. But playing darts on a Tuesday night and waking up on a Wednesday morning and you're all fuzzy and you think, right, can I go to the gym? Nah, I think I'll have a throw this afternoon. And then the pub's closed and you think, oh, I'll have a pint, another pint, and then the lads come in when you open and you have another pint. And then next thing you know, you're on the piss all the time. And that's not darts' fault, that's my fault. But again, it was, the generation I brought up, you went to the pub, you had a game of darts, you had a pint, and that was it. And that's how I've always done it. And can I play without a drink? Yeah, if no one's watching. But that ain't no good when you're playing on TV or playing in a pub where people are going, oh look. And again, it's the pressure, the expectation, and my fear of failure. It's knocked me about a bit. Don't get me wrong, I've absolutely loved it, and when this comes out and when I do go to the Tavern in a couple of weeks' time, I will thank everybody involved and all the players and all the staff, because I have had an amazing time and I've loved it. Although at the same time, it's not good for me. The whole culture side of the sport's just not good for me. And once I get that out of the way, bit of rehab, but at home, and back in the gym, and I'm back to doing what. And it's not really a retirement, because I never really made a comeback. Or before anybody wants to write in the notes, well, how can you retire? You're a wank. I did win a TV tournament, let's put it that way, and 11 ranking titles, and played for my country. If you've done more than that, feel free to comment. If you haven't, listen, it's lovely to be a part of and try. I hope I've helped them promote it, and like I said, I want to spend my time more usefully, and I want to do something in the seniors, but I don't want, not from a playing point, but not necessarily from a commentator's point of view either. But I don't know, maybe put myself in an industry where I can use what I've learned for the past 30 odd years and try and do some good rather than go up there and put myself through the ringer.
Also as well, obviously modern day fans will know you from ITV and Talk Sport, where some of them wouldn't even realise that you were a player and could play. And you've introduced them. Hang on a minute. I think I got to number 3 in the BDO in the world. I got to number 11 in the PDC. I was considered for the Premier League, and then they changed the ranking to a 2-year system, and then I got back up to 16. But guess it was number 1. So that every weekend getting pumped by Taylor on a Saturday and pumped by Taylor on a Sunday. But I won 11 world ranking titles. I played for my country. Played in every TV tournament that was available to me. I made the semis of the match play, semis of the Masters, back-to-back semis in the Worlds. I had an amazing time. It would I beat everybody that I played against, whether it be once or twice. But it was a great time, and if I wouldn't have had what's wrong with me, who knows how I could have gone. I don't have emotional depression. If people may not know the story, I don't produce the chemicals in my brain that allow me to be. And it's not bipolar, because that's a completely different thing. It's all about serotonin and chemicals in the brain. So it's not a life choice. It's not because I've been to jail and I'm a criminal. Listen, I've had an amazing time, and I'd like to think now that
I can I just want to apply myself somewhere and help the sport that's been unbelievably unkind as a player, but kind to me as a person. And I love what I'm doing. I'm doing more work for the PDC this year. I'm doing more work for radio, doing more work for television, doing more kind of things like this with you, and I may slip back into the podcast world, because I think I was a bit ahead of my time, wasn't I? You remember when I was doing what you're doing now, but unfortunately, part of my illness makes me want everything now. And I was like, what's going on? I didn't have the patience that you had to build a brand. But yeah, I may go into something that I can't seem to avoid controversy, because it's quite funny. If you're confident, you're arrogant. If you have an opinion, you're nasty. Yeah, the irony of everybody out there having an opinion, not a very nice one, because they don't know the facts. They believe everything they read. Yeah, ironically, most of them don't read an article. You know what I mean? They don't read. They go, oh yeah, that's what he said. Oh yeah, it must have happened. And it's tiring. And people go, oh, you don't take it seriously. It's not that I don't take anything seriously. It was decades ago, 2 decades ago, and most of the things never happened. There's stories that are made up. You wouldn't honestly think I would be in this position 100%. If I was a criminal. 100%. Like, please, like, and it's tiring. And we go about this: be kind, be nice. But yeah, some of the things that I get accused of are absurd. Yeah, like, where do you get what? It's like flat earthers. Like, really? Where do you get this shit from?
Is the earth not flat?
No, unfortunately, no, mate. No,
sorry.
Unfortunately, you can't fall off the edge. It's just it's tough, but I've sort of become thick-skinned to it all a little bit. But when we sit down and have a chat, it's quite funny to sort of look on, and if you think it affects me, my God, like, my life's perfect, as perfect as it can be.
You've got the pub, you've got Charlotte, you've got your media work.
Yeah, like I'm all right. Like, I don't want really anything else. I love this sport as a fan, and I love being involved, and I'm very grateful to have been given the opportunities by Sky and BBC back in the 90s, and getting to work with the likes of Sid and Dave and Gwynny, and learn so much, and learn off people like Jeff Stelling as well, like back in the day, and so many great people in our sport have been so kind with their time and advice and encouragement that I'm loving it, mate. It's great, and it's getting better, isn't it?
Yeah, look, we'll come back to that in a second. But if your last game on TV is to be against Mark Dudbridge, that's a fitting way to sign off, isn't it?
It is, actually. I'll tell you why. Because when I decided I was going to turn pro, me and Mark are similar age. He was super tight. His dad was a fabulous player, as is his sister, and her fella Dean. And he wasn't really interested, but he used to put himself out to come and practice with me over in Bedminster all the time. And was he better than me then? Probably close, if not better, equally as good. And we used to play for hours and hours, and I said to him, mate, have a go. And he was like, no, I'm not interested. And I was like, my God, you're so good. And then our careers didn't really, he went, obviously qualified for the Masters and went on and won the World Masters, and then he made finals of the match play. Premier League was in, and I had an unbelievable sort of 10 years or so, but we certainly never played on TV. We would have played locally in local knockouts or in league games or whatever, though we used to play on the same side most of the time.
But yeah, it'll be quite nice. We sort of had a rivalry, but not personally.
Yeah.
Like the people made that rivalry and made
You
that.
were both from Bristol.
Yeah, made that combat, and we were both from different sort of sides of Bristol. Yeah, it's quite a strange one because there was never I never seen him as a rival because we weren't really at our best at the same time. But yeah, I love W to bits, and yeah, he's still a fabulous player. And if he does beat me, I hope he goes on and he can go on and win it. He's certainly good enough.